Good afternoon. Thanks for joining 13 News on WTHR Plus. I'm Dustin Grove. Boy, the heat is on. You know that if you've been outside. Relief is on its way, though. Today is supposed to be the last hot and humid day this week. You're taking a live look, a beautiful look at downtown Indy, where it feels like we are in the triple digits. Sean Ash is tracking those temps and some possible storms.
Yeah. So everyone gets the heat and the mugginess today.
Okay.
Some areas get thunderstorms, but the storms that do pop up could have a little bang for the buck here. So bottom line, impacts that we're talking about are going to be from now till about 10 o'clock, give or take. That heat index in the 95 to near 100 range. Isolated to scattered thunderstorms. They'll start north first, and then they'll gradually creep southward as we go toward I-70 here, and that's going to be a little bit later this evening. What you need to do, drink all that water, Gatorade, if you have to be outdoors working, get kids that have practices, things like that, and download our free weather app, and you can keep an eye on the radar and the thunderstorms, and it will also alert you to approaching thunderstorms. Weather Camera Network, these are air temperatures that are generally in the lower 90s. When you factor in the mugginess of the air, we have heat indices that are flirting with 100 and above 100. They're 101 in Greenwood, 101 in Plainfield, 102 in Carmel, Fishers, Noblesville. You have to go up to the northern part of Indiana into northern Illinois on the backside of a cool front that will eventually bring the relief that we've been talking about here. The highest chance of thunderstorms and severe weather, by that way, northeast Indiana and northern and northwest Ohio, where we've got that severe thunderstorm watch. Lift is a little bit better over there, but we do expect there again, we'll start to see some of these storms back build toward the south and southwest, and we've seen a few that are beginning to pop up here. You got one little cell there near Lafayette and Frankfort. There's a lot of moisture, so anything that flares up will have localized heavy rain potential, but there's enough instability that warrants that a few storms, maybe not all of them, but a few of them could produce some severe wind, and can't rule out a few funnels with some of the stronger cells as well along that front. All the action is done in terms of severe weather potential by midnight. Want to talk about tomorrow? You will feel the difference, okay? Northeasterly wind will be our friend, and it's going to knock our temperatures down into the 70s and lower 80s. And then we are on a string of mostly sunny days. It's going to get a little more humid again Thursday and Friday. But I am telling you, for August, this weekend weather can't get much better than that. 50s for lows, 70s for highs.
Oh, beautiful weekend ahead. All right, Sean, thank you.
Got it.
To the race for the White House now, and it is official. After intense vetting and a whole lot of meetings, Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris has a running mate in Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. NBC's Susan McGinnis takes a look at his political past and future as he and Harris kick off their battleground state tour tonight.
Democratic nominee Kamala Harris chooses Minnesota Governor Tim Walz to be her running mate. The pair releasing a video to build excitement. The campaign believes Walz brings a sense of balance to the ticket. He is 60 years old, a two-term governor, a former teacher, a military veteran, and a gun owner. The announcement coming after Harris officially becomes the party's nominee, making history as the first woman of color at the top of a major party ticket. Harris and her new wingman rally tonight in Philadelphia, then kick off a battleground state tour covering Wisconsin, Michigan, Arizona, and Nevada. And in the most sincere form of flattery, Trump running mate J.D. Vance holds rallies in several of those same states. With polls showing a dead heat, the Trump campaign blaming Biden and Harris for the stock market drops.
We have never been down 1,000 points ever, not even intraday on the NASDAQ.
Bidenomics is working. It's working.
Attack ads, a sure sign of a tight race with 3 months to go to Election Day. Susan McGinnis, NBC News, Washington.
And today's big announcement from the Democrats' presidential nominee is causing a big stir in her VP pick's hometown. Audrey Russo from our sister station in Minneapolis has a look at the growing support for Minnesota Governor Tim Walz.
The St. Paul Street turning into somewhat of a block party out here. You can see neighbors gathering around the residence of Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, along with a litany of media. Neighbors out here tell me that they were ready to witness this historic moment. They told me that they noticed more cars pulling into the residence this morning, hinting to them that he was Kamala Harris's pick to round out the presidential Democratic ticket. He beat out contenders from other swing states, going against the grain of traditional wisdom to pick someone from a swing state. Right now, we've seen a few dark-colored SUVs leaving the Walz residence. We know that he's set to join Vice President Harris in Pennsylvania later on today for a formal kickoff and announcement. From there, he and Vice President Harris will head back to the Midwest tomorrow to Eau Claire, Wisconsin. This is a multi-day campaign in different swing states trying to appeal to voters. Governor Walz will actually be in Eau Claire tomorrow at the same time as the Republican vice presidential pick, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance. Now, it's customary for the vice presidential nominees to spar in a debate closer to Election Day, and we now know that that matchup will be Vance versus Walz. Now, again, neighbors out here say that they are excited to be witnessing this moment in history. They say that they wanted to come out here to see exactly what was going to unfold, what this was really going to look like. But for now, we know that folks in Minnesota are excited to see Governor Walz represent their home state on the national stage.
That was Audrey Russo reporting from St. Paul, Minnesota. Other headlines now. We now know the name of a young boy who died after being found in a retention pond on Indy's west side. Last night, police responded to a report of a missing child near Causeway Drive. That's close to West 38th Street and 465. They tell us not long after they got there, officers found 5-year-old Roby Chakratone in a nearby pond. First responders tried to do CPR, rushed him to the hospital, but he did not survive. We are following this story. We'll share any new information as soon as we have it. Well, the wait is over. The interchange between I-69 and 465 is finally open on Indy's south side. Let's show you a live look now of that area. It opened up earlier today. It's not completely finished, as you see right there. There's still going to be some road work through there. This stretch, though, between Indianapolis and Martinsville has been under construction since 2020, and that's likely to last through the end of the year. But with this interchange open now, the highway now stretches all the way from the Canadian border up in Michigan all the way down to Evansville. That project has taken 16 years in all and cost $4 billion. Great to see that open. Today, a Hoosier veteran was able to break ground on his family's new home in Lawrence, a home, by the way, that will be mortgage-free. Our Matthew Foltz was there during the ceremony and explains how some are now giving back to him.
In less than 5 months, this empty lot that you see behind me will be turned into a brand new home for retired Sergeant Timothy Duffin and his family. And I spoke with him earlier today, and he tells me this opportunity is life-changing.
Throw it out there.
It's a scoop of new opportunity for Sergeant Duffin and his family, officially breaking ground along Melnick Avenue in Lawrence.
It's such a blessing. That's what it is. It's just like I feel blessed.
Duffin and his family were joined by the nonprofit Building Homes for Heroes and Linner Construction. Together, they helped make this once-in-a-lifetime gift possible. The Duffin family will move into this home and neighborhood without paying any mortgage at all, thanks to the nonprofit. Sergeant Duffin joined the Army in 2007 and served until he was hit with an IED explosion, which caused nerve damage in his brain. His career doing tours overseas was then cut short. While his service on the front lines may be over, these organizations are now working to serve him with a gift of a lifetime.
The pressure it is to try to rebuild something from nothing, to be able to look at my kids and say, these walls ain't going anywhere. That means something to me.
And leaders with Building Homes for Heroes tell me that they should have this home built and completed, ready for the Duffins to move into by Christmas. Reporting in Lawrence, I'm Matthew Foltz, 13 News.
What a gift. Building Better Homes have built and gifted more than 380 homes. We have more information on the program on our website. You can check it out at WTHR.com. Tropical Storm Debbie is slowly swirling over Georgia into the Carolinas right now, triggering damaging tornadoes down there and dumping catastrophic rainfall in low-lying coastal cities. At least 5 people so far have died since Debbie came ashore yesterday. Here's Brian Abel now with a look at one of the cities bracing for several more hours of torrential rain and flooding.
Tropical storm Debbie is here, and it looks like she is wearing out her welcome.
Debbie's two-day deluge on South Carolina and Georgia is adding up. Charleston is one of several cities that's received nearly a foot of rain as more keeps falling.
Anticipate another 3 to 6 inches over the next 12 to 14 hours.
Charleston's mayor says a curfew is working, keeping people off the streets. He's now extending it through early Wednesday morning.
We especially don't need any yahoos driving through the water and causing damage to property.
Overnight, a suspected tornado swept through nearby Monk's Corner, upending vehicles and destroying a number of buildings. 2 other twisters were confirmed Monday night southwest of Charleston in Modesto Beach and Seabrook.
Unfortunately, I don't believe the storm is done with us yet.
Georgia's governor on Tuesday warning residents to stay hunkered down and prepare for more possible property damage.
Both models are showing that rain will come back, potentially in the worst case scenario in a big way.
Nearly 2,000 National Guard troops have been mobilized for search and rescue efforts. In Florida, about 500 people were safely moved to higher ground around Sarasota, and water rescues continue in parts of the state this hour. Bracing for Debbie's heavy rains next, the Northeast, which could see several inches over the weekend. In Charleston, I'm Brian Abel reporting.
And Sean, you were telling us that this is just such a slow mover and it's dumping so much
slow-moving tropical systems, always bad news here because it brings that tornado threat, but the flooding threat that you're seeing here. And there you have it. You can see a bit of both. We're getting some tornado warnings, and you can see the flash flood warnings that are flashing around. So future track 13 over the next 48 plus hours. This thing doesn't move much at all. And so again, that keeps the flooding threat going, that keeps the severe weather threat, and there's that rain footprint that they talked about that goes up to the northeast. I know a lot of folks are thinking, will this impact us? It will not. So we have a front coming through tonight. That's the second front that comes through Friday night, and that's going to be the one that shoves it and gives it a kick and eventually gets it out of the U.S. mainland here and away from us. The first front tonight brings in a less humid breeze for tomorrow, which is WTHR Day at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. Please come out. We're going to be out there just outside the Coliseum from about 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Look for me. I'll be double fisting some pineapple whips.
It's a great day for a pineapple whip.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
Yes.
All right, looking forward to it. Thank you, Sean. Finally, your prime time lineup at the Olympics. All the action starts at 8, kicking things off women's diving, the 10-meter platform followed by men's track and field, the 400-meter semis, then women's track and field, the 400-meter hurdles, semis, and wrapping things up, the women's 200-meter final. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you next time.